Welcome to this video. Today I'm going to share 10 things that I want to sew for this spring. It's going to be both clothing as well as some home items, and I think I have one accessory on the list as well. I narrowed it down to 10 items just to keep me from making a really long video because of course there's a lot of stuff I want to make and sew. So this is kind of a jumping off point for me, and I think that the theme for this season is definitely practicality. Reviewing my list, I think everything that I want to make is definitely useful things, like clothes that I can get a ton of use out of, home items that hopefully will last a really long time. Yeah, let's just get into it, I guess. The first thing on my list is a nice light jacket, low profile, sort of like a 90s simple put together kind of a blazer, but I don't want it to have a V-neck. I want it to have a high neck with just a classic straight collar above or below the hip. That's what I wrote down. A lot of the examples that I have are like suede and leather jackets. I don't want to make or wear a suede or a leather jacket, but this style is what I'm talking about. So I haven't had much luck thrifting anything like this, so I'm thinking that I can try to make a style of jacket, maybe something in like a cotton twill, and it'd be fun to make it in a color that's a little bit fun and different. I'm just kind of bored with wearing my denim jacket with everything, so I want a different option for the days that I don't feel like being super casual in a denim jacket, something a little bit more put together. The next thing on my list is generally I want to make a lot of skirts. I want to make comfy skirts with elastic waistbands, but I want them to still be somewhat of like pencil skirt style or A-line skirts. My preference is for a bit of a slim looking skirt, not too much gathers, but I want a little bit of the comfort of an elastic waistband. I'm kind of inspired by like very simple slip skirts that have a little lingerie elastic at the top hem of it. I know I have lots of sewing patterns that I could use as a jumping off point, and I'm thinking linen and cotton slip skirts of varying lengths. And then I also think I want to try to make a skirt with some cotton jersey, which is like the stretchy t-shirt material. And I do have a bit of cotton jersey from Mood Fabrics that I got from their dead stock collection that I want to make a skirt with. I also put maybe a mini skirt in cotton sateen. I bought sort of like a creamish yellow, like the color of my walls, shade of yellow cotton sateen, as well as a bit of an olive green cotton sateen, and I feel like those could make pretty cute skirts with matching jackets. My next category is shorts, which for me, I really just want to remake my navy blue pair of shorts. I talked about them quite a bit in my spring outfits video. I feel like I've talked about them a lot in general. They're like a bias cut pair of shorts that I have from a random pajama pant sewing pattern, and I altered it quite a bit. I do want to remake it, and I'll make a video for YouTube when I do that. So I want to remake those, but I also want to just make kind of like classic boxer shorts for the really hot days of the summer. I mean, this is for my spring video, but I feel like in the springtime, I'm making things in preparation for summer. I start incorporating my summer pieces with my colder weather stuff. Like I'd love to wear a pair of boxer shorts with a sweatshirt with a jacket, and that's kind of a fun way to mix and match. But yeah, for shorts category, I put boxer shorts, bias cut shorts. We had such a long string of like 100-degree days here, and the city retains heat so much, so it can be so brutal. In the wintertime, I rewear clothes all the time without washing them. In the summertime, it gets a little trickier to do that because stuff gets so sweaty. But anyways, yeah, I want to be prepared with lots of cotton and linen skirts and shorts. I really like some of the short examples that are like almost Edwardian underwear inspired with little lace bits and stuff. Like that'd be fun to try to make. My next category is day dresses. The shift dress that I wore a lot last spring and summer, I think I have it somewhere here. It doesn't matter. It was like I made it from a bed sheet, kind of like a soft yellow and cream seersucker stripe sort of a thing. Simple shift dress, and I wore it a ton and I washed it a ton, and I think it shrunk a little bit. Either that or maybe like my body might have fluctuated a bit where it doesn't fit as well, like it feels a bit tight. So I have sacrificed that dress to be turned into quilting materials, and I want to remake a different version of it, like remake some linen shift dresses, 1960s dresses from my sewing pattern collection. I would love to make some of those in cotton sateens, cotton or linen. And I also wrote down knit t-shirt dresses. I don't totally know what I mean by this, but I think just like experimental t-shirt sewing, because I thrift so many t-shirts and I do like the scrap tees and stuff like that. So maybe just having fun with cotton jersey. Number 5 is that I want to make a picnic quilt, or like a quilt to take on hikes and stuff for when we eat lunch, which I guess is like the same thing, a picnic quilt. I actually have one in process somewhere in my room or like in a storage bin, and I feel like I can easily wrap that up. I want to make more quilts as wall hangings. I'm working on one right now, which I can show you. This one is long and thin and a repeat pattern that's just like squares in 2 different colors. I am just trying to use up as much of the fabric that I have around that is just kind of sitting here, use it all up as much as possible, all of my scraps and stuff. And I also have a baby quilt that I've been working on. I'd like to wrap that up this week for my friend who just gave birth to a little baby girl. This is the quilt so far. It's just going to be a small little floor quilt, and I embroidered her name with her birthday and the time she was born. And there's some cute fabrics in here. There's like this cat fabric that I really like. But yeah, I want to finish this. I'm just in general feeling inspired to make quilts. Okay, number 6. I want to make at least one semi-formal dress to have as my go-to like wedding guest dress that I can just keep re-wearing. Something kind of simple, like, but in some kind of a really nice fabric in a color that I really like, that flatters me, or even like a vintage 1930s pattern. I feel like that could be really cute too. I have so many cool vintage sewing patterns. I feel like I just want to try making them all, and it'd be nice to have like a go-to semi-formal or formal dress. And I have a couple weddings coming up, so I want to be prepared. Number 7, I want to make kitchen chair covers, and I also put that I want to make new placemats for our kitchen table. We have kitchen chair covers from IKEA. I might have talked about this before on my channel as something that I really want to do, but it's driving me crazy because originally these cushions were from IKEA. They're like, they go with the chairs, super basic, chunky Velcro straps around the chair, which drive me nuts. And the cushion itself, like, we throw them in the wash, but you can't like unzip the pillow portion of it. So I want to make a cover so that I can just wash the cover and not have to wash the foam all the time, because it kind of distorts it. And I want to get rid of the little Velcro, the chunky Velcro, and do some kind of a tie or like a button strap sort of a thing, just in better fabric. And I also like got paper mache drops all over all of them also, so like they really need to be just like washed and covered so that they look nicer. So that's been on my agenda for a while, and I want to check out the resource exchange to see if they have fabric for that. All the fabrics I have here have not like inspired me enough to get started doing that. I feel like I really want to be struck with a yes about the fabric that I choose. And as far as placemats go, like, we rotate between 2 different styles of cotton placemats. One of them I made out of an old patchwork quilt that someone gave me, and then the other ones we got when we were in upstate New York. So they're handmade by someone else though. They're like really cute vintage style placemats. Both of them are just kind of like, we've got a lot of use out of them, and they're like covered in stains. The patchwork one is just like in tatters, so I wanted to make some new placemats just to have ones that are a bit more presentable, I guess, and I have plenty of fabric to do that with. So another thing on my list is tank tops, which is like super basic but super useful for the spring and summer as layering pieces. And I would especially like to make tank tops to match the skirts that I make. I like the look of an all matching ensemble, and I also love the look of a tank top with a long pair of pants or a tank top with a really long skirt. And I do also think it'd be fun to make like a long sleeve button down which perfectly matches a skirt in some kind of a pattern. I feel like I have a great Pinterest reference for this, and I do have some fabric in mind for that. I think I'm gonna do a different video where I show you all of the fabric that I've been buying because it needs its own video. Just tank tops, but I guess just tops in general, leaning more warm weather stuff. The next one on my list is to possibly remake the curtains in our bedroom, which I showed a bit of the process of on YouTube, but I don't think they spark joy for me because they didn't come out how I wanted them to, really. Like, the fabric is just wrong for curtains. The edges of them just like don't sit straight. And I also think I need more fabric. I think I didn't realize what I was getting myself into when I decided to make curtains for our bedroom because the ceilings are extremely high. So I really need a ton of yardage to get the height and the width that I want. But I know the Resource Exchange got a ton of fabric donated to them somewhat recently, and possibly like upholstery and like home decor fabrics and stuff. Maybe I will check out that stuff and try to get some fabric for remaking the curtains in our bedroom. And I also want to possibly make new pillows for our couch because our current pillows, which I have made, I love them, but the pillow forms are extremely lumpy, and some of the patchworking that I've done is kind of like falling apart. I don't know, I'd love to have a bit more of a cohesive look with everything, and Lewis and I do have a goal to get a new couch, or at least like thrift a couch that's new to us sometime before the end of the year. So it might be fun to kind of mix it up and make some new pillows for the couch. And if I did that, I would definitely share my process for YouTube because I think I would try to find the pillow forms at thrift stores and then just make the covers myself. Okay, so I've gotten to my last one. The last thing on my list is that I would love to make a fringy tote or a fringe bag for myself, and even for my shop too. I saw this one and I thought it was so beautiful with like embroidery, and I'd love to do something like that in my own style. And I got all this fringe from eBay sometime last year. I feel like it was advertised to me that it was Victorian, but I just don't see how that's possible because I think these beads are plastic, the big baubles on here. But I feel like this would be great as like a little fringe around the edge of a tote bag or a little pocketbook, and that's definitely on my list of things that I want to try to experiment with. And besides that, I have tons of other stuff that I'm really excited about making and sewing, but I have to stop myself somewhere, and so this is where I've drawn the line. But I think this time of year is especially inspiring and exciting for clothing and making things. I do actually have faith in myself that I'll get around to making some of this stuff because like sewing just goes faster in the spring and summer because of the fabrics, in my opinion. Like linen is just easy to sew with. Cotton is also just like easy to sew with. So I feel like the projects tend to be a bit more like effortless to make from start to finish. And yeah, that's what I've got today. I hope you're having a great week, and I will be back soon with another video. Perhaps the sewing vlog will be up next, but we'll see. Bye everyone.